all run into these clients that drive us crazy. And who's better to ask for advice than my boy Wayne Bowles? Wayne, what do I do when I want to tell a client to go pound sand?
Well, I'm going to tell you, man. I mean, this probably is not the politically correct answer, and this may not be the proper business coaching answer, but, I'm not always politically correct. But, I mean, if I want to tell somebody to pound sand, I'll tell them go pound sand. If they get me to that point, I'm really I've got more patience with my customers than I do anybody else most of the time. But, if they get me to the point where, hey, I'm done. Once I'm done, and I'll go tell them pound sand. Until then, I try to explain to it professionally on, why. Jim, a buddy that I'm on Facebook and talk to, he was talking last night about this, kind of, Darren, this thing a little bit, and I was actually going to talk about it a little bit today about, how customers, they ask for our help. They ask us, how should I do this? How should I do that? And whatnot. We give them that advice that they ask for, but then they don't follow it, and then they're mad at us because something doesn't work right.
Right.
Oh, Lord. We just try to do the right thing. We understand that, hey, it's all about recurring revenue, right? It's all about keeping somebody happy, keep having their loyalty with our businesses. But, sometimes, and we've talked a little bit about this, you and I have, Darren, sometimes it's time to tell somebody go pound sand and tell them, hey, the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, but wait a second. So here was my issue. And, I'll make it a 2-second thing here. I spent a month and a half on this project, and she was just mean throughout the entire time, as if I was making her do the job, which I wasn't. She called me, right? And here I am spending a month and a half of my company time. And you know what we want at the end of our jobs is we want a review, right?
Right.
I'm not going to get a review from her. I don't know whether I'm going to get a review from her if I will definitely not get a good review if I tell her to go pound sand.
Right.
And I'm not even sure if I'm going to get one anyway. So what do? I can't. I just can't stand this lady. And I don't hate many people. I dislike a lot, but I don't hate many people.
How close are you to being finished with this project?
We're done. I did the lighting and the fence is going up today, and it's done.
So it's going to be finished. So definitely, man. I mean, from one old guy to another. At this point, you don't tell her to pound sand. Actually, I did have somebody. This goes back many years, but it sounds like a very similar circumstance to this, Darren. I never will forget it. This goes back quite a few years. I was out on a crew, had a crew myself, and we had 2 crews on a job. We were finishing up a leaf removal job. It was a cleanup, and the job was done. It really was complete. Okay, and we were getting ready to leave. We were loaded up. 2 crews loaded up. It doesn't sound like a big deal, man, but you know what I'm saying. You got everything loaded up. Everybody's in it. You're ready to back out the driveway, and here she comes scurrying down the driveway, and she's like, oh, wait a minute, would you mind going on the other side of the fence over there into the apartment complex and get those leaves? Now, if she would have stopped at that, it would have been okay, but this was just like the last of many visits from her that day, okay, like that. Here's the kicker to it, Darren, and you'll appreciate this, and so will our listeners. I guarantee it's happened to them. Probably not you being King Darren, but she followed that up with, I'll pay you another $10.
Yeah, let's step out of the truck right now.
I said, you know what? Here's what we're going to do, Miss Smith. We're going to do those leaves for you. We're going to not charge you for you because $10 ain't going to cover the cost to do it, but I'm going to do it so you can't talk bad about us. But I said, I want you to just do me one favor. Please never, ever, ever call Wayne's Lawn Service again. And
did you really?
I swear to God, I told her that. And she says, I can't believe you're saying that. I said, I can't believe I'm saying it either. I said, I've been in business a long time. I don't remember how long it was, but it was a number of years, probably 15 years, something like that.
Well,
but yeah, sometimes you just got to tell them.
What prompted her to do that? Did you guys throw the leaves on that property, that lawn?
No, because what it was just a chain link fence that separated her yard from the adjoining apartment complex. Okay. Well, once we got her side of the fence cleaned up, then she saw the leaves blown up against the other side of the fence. Okay. So they were not on her, they were on the apartment complex side. It's just she didn't want to look through and see them piled up with her. You know how wind blows them and they get up against the fence. And she didn't want to see that. That did two things for us. And I know we're a little ahead of the game here, but talking about pounding sand. That was the first time I ever told a customer, and I think the only time I've ever told a customer not to call us back. I've fired customers before, but she's the only one I think I've told never call me back. And, but damn, I lost my train of thought. What I was going to tell you about the rest of that story. God. But anyway, that's what happens. You get that sometimers. That's all right. But
that's right. Did I ever tell you, speaking about that, so speaking about on the lines of pounding sand, I had a client one time that pissed me off so bad. His name was Paul. He was a doctor, and I can't remember his last name. But he was I took care of a commercial property for him, and it wasn't a big commercial property. It was the size of a residential lawn. Just happened to be, it was his office building. Anyway, I did some landscaping for him, and I put in a really nice row of these spreading yews. And I remember in an island, and I remember he didn't want to pay me for it, and he didn't want to pay me for it. He didn't like this, whatever it was. I got so upset. I just said, you know what, you don't want to pay me. I took the spreading yews, and I threw them. I pulled them out, and I threw them on his parking lot. It was so bad. And listen. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I did this. I'm admitting, Darren, you're admitting that you did this. Absolutely, I did, because it's a good learning lesson. Here's what happened. So remember, okay, I don't know if it isn't like this in Florida. I just vandalized his property, even though I installed it. I vandalized his property, even though he didn't pay for it. I vandalized his property, and he called the cops. So think about this. This is crazy. I spent all the money on the shrubs. I spent the money on the labor putting this in, and I decided to take them out and throw away. He called the cops. He said, because in New Jersey, I'm not sure if this is the way it is in Louisville, in Kentucky, but in New Jersey, if you install something on your property, consumer law means it's yours. It's on their property. It's theirs.
That's right. Whether it's paid for or not, man. And that sucks. There ain't no way that's right. There ain't no way that's right. But yeah, it is.
So in order for me to have gotten it back, it's true. In order for me to have gotten it back, I would have had to sue him for it, right?
Yeah.
So and I have another story related to that, but I won't tell you now. But that's the way New Jersey is. So I actually, in order to avoid going to jail, I had to clean it up, and right in front of the cops, right in front of the owner, and right in front of the customers, I had to put them all back, and I still didn't get paid for it.
Nice. So you got to do it twice, man. That was awesome. Well, just look at you got practice. You know.
I got practice, and then you know what I did? I told him to go friggin' pound sand, and it turned out actually he called me back, he paid me, and he apologized, and he said, you know what? He says, I've never seen that happen. He felt bad about it, and he actually he paid me in advance to take care of his problem. We ended up becoming friends. Can't remember his last name for some reason. The Fuhrer, Paul the Fuhrer, I think his name is. But yeah, he turned out to be what a funny story that was.
That's a good story. Don't do what I did. Yeah. That's one of those do as I say, not as I do things, right?
That's right.
Oh my God.